Hey guys, come on downstairs. Let's recap our first FBS win in Year 1 Game 8 against the Old Dominion Monarchs. We beat them 20-14 in a low-scoring game, 16 first downs to 13 in our favor. We outgained them in total offense, 281 to 231, so our defense did a fantastic job in this game. ODU, 22 carries for 114 yards. We had 41 carries for 134 yards. Both teams with 2 touchdowns on the ground. Old Dominion was 12 of 25 passing for 117 yards. We were 18 of 26 for 147. Third down conversions, they were 4 of 9, 44%. We were 10 of 17, 58%. Nobody converted a fourth down. 2 red zone trips for Old Dominion. They scored touchdowns on both of those. And Southern Utah, we had 3 red zone trips, 2 touchdowns, and 1 field goal came of it. The 2 turnovers by Old Dominion really gave us momentum in this game. We did not turn the ball over at all. Both of those turnovers for Old Dominion were interceptions, both of them by Martavius Redmond. Punt returns, only 13 yards for ODU, 19 for us. Kick return yards, 86 for them, 48 for us. Total yardage, 330 for them, 348 for us. They averaged 40 yards a punt. We averaged 34.3. And time of possession, we really held on to the football and wore down their defense and moved the chains in this game. Aaron Cantu had a good game as a controversial starter in this one. A lot of people wanted Mitch Dalen to go, but Cantu came on, 18 of 26, 147 yards, a long of 34. He was sacked 4 times in the game, but he got the job done. Rayshawn Martin, 3 yards shy of 100, 18 carries for 97 yards, a 5.3-yard average and 1 touchdown. His best game of the season, the only other one that may have been close was probably the New Mexico State game in the first week of the season, and I do not remember his output in that game. Aaron Cantu, 14 carries for 17 yards. It seemed like he had more than that. Of course, you have to factor in the sacks. Receiving, Fa'atu Ma'ola, 5 catches for 83 yards. He came up huge in this game. He caught a huge third down conversion that set up a field goal that made it 20-14 and really kept the momentum on our side. A huge game for our leading receiver, Fa'atu Ma'ola. Easton Peterson, 3 catches for 24 yards. Frank Sampt, 3 for 17 out of the backfield. Rayshawn Martin caught passes but went backwards. Norris, 2 catches for 11 yards, and Malik Brown, 2 for 18. Meyer gave up a sack. Griffin gave up 2 more sacks. Farr also gave up a sack. It might be time to replace Griffin at that right tackle spot. He's given up a lot of sacks this year. We'll have to look and see what we have on the offensive line to replace him in the preview for the next game. Martavius Redmond had a huge game. 2 interceptions, 2 sacks, 5 tackles, and the sacks both came at huge times in the game. And I would throw his hat in the arena for NCAA Defensive Player of the Week. Colton Cook, 2 for 2 on field goals, 2 for 2 on PATs. Miller, 4 punts, 137 yards. Griff McNabb, 2 kick returns, a 16.5-yard average. He averaged 6.3 on punt returns, nothing special there. For Old Dominion, David Washington, 71.3 rating, only 12 of 25. He has not completed a high percentage of passes, 117 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He did not have a good day throwing the football. Southern Utah was in the backfield a lot, 5 sacks in this game, and I dare say that is a season high for our defense. David Washington, 18 carries for 95 yards. He hurt us more on the ground than he did through the air, really. He had 2 touchdowns rushing, 5.2-yard average, and a 26 long. And to be honest, we really played the read option better in this game than we have all season. Fulgham with 4 catches for 39 yards. Harper, 3 for 23. Pascal, 2 for 42. Nobody really hurt us downfield. Casey had 1 pancake block, gave up a sack. Vaughn and Garcia both gave up sacks for Old Dominion. Brickhouse had 9 tackles for them. Rotimi had 2 sacks. Coward had 1 sack and 9 tackles on the day. No interceptions. We didn't turn the ball over. That was good, and it's really good to see a 1-7 record down there and see that 0 gone from the win column. Davis, no field goal attempts, 2 of 2 on PATs. Kate, 3 kickoff returns, a 40-yard average. Strong, 3 kickoff returns as well. Little, 1 punt return, 13 yards. And Martavius Redmond has been named the NCAA's Defensive Player of the Week with 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 INTs. So our very own Southern Utah's Martavius Redmond, your NCAA Defensive Player of the Week. On the offensive side, Ohio State's Dontre Wilson had 42 carries, 4 touchdowns, and 162 yards against Penn State in a 48-14 win. All right, since we got Player of the Week, let's go back through all the weeks and see who has won previously in this award. Jake Browning last week in a win over ASU. Brian Peavy on the defensive side from Iowa State. Justin Jackson, Northwestern halfback. Dawson Fletcher in Indiana, outside linebacker. So the award was dominated by the Big Ten that week. Dontrell Hilliard from Tulane, a defensive player from Marshall. Riley Nill from Ball State, and DeMarcus Owens from New Mexico State. So a group of 5 dominated Week 5 in the NCAA awards. Week 4, Curtis Samuel of Ohio State, Carmichael Dunbar, the right end of Louisiana, in a win over Akron. Mike White, the Western Kentucky quarterback, in a win over South Alabama, a future opponent still of us this year. Aaron Jones in week number 2, the running back for UTEP, and Solomon Thomas from Stanford. And Lamar Jackson in week 1 in a win over Ohio, also a future opponent, next week's opponent for us, and Kenny Bigelow of USC. All right, that is our recap of the Old Dominion game. Up next, we have the Ohio Bobcats on the road in Athens, Ohio. The preview should be coming out shortly, and I think, I'm not 100% positive, but I think we will have some recruiting news in that one with some other offers that we have extended. But Ohio and Southern Utah from Athens is next.